I'm a social scientist, and one thing we have to do in social science is to make some assumptions about the nature of man. Um, and I think if you make the wrong assumptions about the nature of man, you end up with kind of strange equilibria. Um, and I think when I look at how the Bible describes the nature of man, I see, for example, in Genesis 3, Adam and Eve, um, there was a passage in there that says when they ate of the fruit, that their eyes were opened and they saw that they were naked. Um, I feel that's the saddest verse in the whole Bible, because the first bit of awareness, self-awareness, is a sense of inadequacy and a sense of, and then God says, where are you? And the man is hiding and he says, I'm afraid because I'm naked. So I hid. And those three emotions, fear, a sense of shame, and a denial, a battle to say, I hide. Those are universal. Those things are incredibly common, and they show up in the behavioral biases that we see as we study human beings making decisions under uncertainty. There's a very large class of biases that are what we call self-worth preservation biases. These are biases exhibited by creatures who are very concerned about preserving their own sense of self and worth. For example, confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is we look for evidence to support our view. And we see this today in politics and many other things where people look at the same evidence, but we know as scientists we should be looking for disconfirming evidence. That's how science progresses. But what we see over and over again is that people look for confirming evidence. That seems to be an effort to preserve self-worth. We see that also in the overconfidence bias. We are, where the average person is above average. So we see it in hindsight bias, where we knew it all along. We see it in self-attribution bias. That is, when things go right, it was me. When things go wrong, well, it must be somebody else. We see it in all our decisions, and so many of them have to do with that creature that is trying to tell the world that he or she is significant, but deep down doesn't feel that way. To me, it just so, once I see it that way, I see it everywhere. I see it in human behavior. I see it in the behavior of investors in stock markets.